Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So first, let me start off by saying I'm doing this video under duress. I don't like giving people who use this kind of rhetoric additional buzz, but a whole lot of people sent me messages about it, mainly because I think they understood that, yeah, this is a perfect example of what I've been talking about. It is. But I really didn't want to highlight it because I don't like helping them achieve their goals, which is to be sensationalist and incite people and stuff like that. But I've noticed it's been trending on Twitter for like 2 days now, so my silence isn't really going to help anything. So what happened? There was a campaign promise made, and we know how often those come to reality. From there, Ben Shapiro creates this straw man and then uses a slippery slope to create a false dilemma. The idea at the heart of it is that exposing children to something in an academic setting will cause them to emulate it. Whatever. He doesn't believe this any more than I do. I'm certain that there is no objection from Shapiro to the school board over learning about the Donner Party. He knows that this isn't true. And the sideline of it is that somehow the schools will undo the values you've instilled in your children. I'm certain that there are behaviors in the schools and society in general and on TV that he does not want his children emulating. If you think that those influences are going to alter the values you instill in your children and they're going to undermine them, that says a lot about how you instill those values and how well you instill those values. And then there's the idea at the heart of this that somehow people choose to be gay. We're just going to skip right over that. But suffice it to say, there's a little bit of evidence that suggests otherwise. Mountains of it. Okay, so the original campaign promise was something pretty benign. I didn't even go look it up. I think it was something like if a religious institution had an anti-gay curriculum, they would lose their tax-exempt status or something like that, a religious school. By the time the slippery slope is over, no joke, there are armed men at the door coming to take Ben Shapiro's children. This is the scene he creates. No exaggeration. At which point, he says, at that point, I only have two options. And that's to leave the country or pick up a gun. Okay. So, somebody who prides himself on being an intellectual, I guess homeschooling isn't a thing. That doesn't exist. Or how about you use the mechanisms outlined in the Constitution to challenge an unconstitutional law? Because here's the thing. I think it would be great if bigoted organizations lost their tax-exempt status. I think it would be fantastic. But I know that would never make it past the first appeal. That would get struck down immediately. The state cannot impose an ideological purity test on a church. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So this whole thing is based off something that would never actually occur. It can't happen. But rather than just saying that, he chose to incite people. You know, what he could have said was, politician X doesn't even understand the Constitution. He made this stupid campaign promise. This would be a good reason to get out and vote, though, so we don't have to go through the court battle. That's it. That's the responsible coverage of this. It's not going to go anywhere. But instead, he chose to incite people, chose to scare people, chose to fearmonger. And he used that rhetoric. I'm going to get my gun. Okay, then what? What happens next? Let's follow your slippery slope. Let's follow your chain of events. Armed men come to the door, and you meet them at the door. The outcome of that is one of two things, neither of which is good for you or your children. This is horrible. This is horrible. And Ben, you don't strike me as a warrior. And right now there's a whole bunch of people out there going, oh, he insulted his manhood. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. The ability to harm people in combat has nothing to do with masculinity. The problem is in the United States, we think it does. It doesn't. That statement should be no more of an affront to his manhood than saying, Ben, I don't think you're a farmer. I don't think you're a fisherman. I don't think you're a painter. That's a profession. And yes, by saying you're going to meet them at the door where they have a 180-degree field of fire on you, I'm pretty sure it's not your profession. But it's that tough guy rhetoric. I feel like it's important because it drives clicks, because people have lost what masculinity really is. And at the end of the day, what's the takeaway from his message? Schools are the problem. Pick up a gun. How irresponsible is that? In this day and age, with everything going on, this is what you use your platform for. Schools are going to do this. Pick up a gun. You should be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you. It's not the solution. It's not even a problem. This is never going to happen. But you're out there inciting people. And somebody, somewhere, takes what you say seriously. You have a responsibility to your audience. I guess it's not going to be you that pays the price for it, though. It's that idea that violence is always the answer. It's not. It's a tool like any other. And it's like if you're trying to fix your house, and the only tool you have is a hammer. Yeah, you can drive a few nails, maybe fix a few items, but if you keep trying to use that one tool, you're going to destroy your home. And that's what's going to happen here. Because people just can't behave responsibly. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.